Welcome to Grammar Explained, a series where I'll try to explain the world of grammar in all of its beauty and endless Wikipedia articles. Stay tuned for today's topic that'll attract unwanted political comments: gender. The first thing that comes to most people's mind when they hear the word grammatical gender are the terrible German and French classes at school that had almost driven them into suicide. Which is absolutely correct. I mean the languages. Many European languages, actually almost all of them, make use of this concept. French, Spanish and Arabic, for example, use two genders, male and female. Other languages, like German, Russian or Greek, have three genders, male, female and neuter. In these languages, gender can be expressed in very different ways. On the one hand, articles can be used for that, like el, la in Spanish or dedi, das in German. All of them give the following noun its corresponding gender. On the other hand, gender can be expressed through endings, like in most Slavic languages. Male nouns in Czech mostly end in consonants, female nouns in a and neuter ones in o most of the time. Compare pes, kočka and drzewo. Now the funny thing with genders is that they vary massively between languages. A car is male in Spanish, female in Russian and neuter in German, which perfectly proves the point that grammatical gender has nothing to do with the potentially associated gender of a thing. The word manliness in German, for example, is female and neuter in Russian. Of course, an exception to this rule is biological gender, male and female. But this is just a tiny part of the equation, although 1/4 of the world's languages utilize genders. Grammatical gender is only a subcategory of a much bigger system called noun classes. So, what other categories can you assign your nouns to? The list is big, but let's make a few examples. Animate and inanimate. If a noun is considered alive in Japanese, you would use the word iru. If it is not alive, you would say aru. Boku wa neko ga iru. I have a cat. Boku wa jikan ga aru. I have time. Cats are alive, time is not. Then you have the human and non-human classes, which are utilized in the Abkhaz language. As you can see in the example above, that I'm not going to butcher and offend 100,000 people, the plural form is constructed differently based on the class of the noun. By the way, the words look like this in their native script. Swedish nouns, however, are divided into a common gender and a neutral gender. En hund is common gender, but et hus is neuter. English also makes use of a noun class system. Every noun in the language is either countable or uncountable. You can have 2 bikes and 3 cars, but not 2 electricities and 3 chaoses. Now this is nothing compared to the Bantu family, where languages can have up to 23 noun classes. Take Zulu, for example. Zulu has 14 of them. Last but not least, we have the beauty that is Mandarin Chinese, with hundreds of numeral noun classifiers, because someday in the past they decided that, hey let's not do that countability thing. And, as a result, not a single word in Chinese is countable, which is why instead of I have 2 pens, you literally have to say I have 2 long stick-like objects of pen. As you may have noticed, in many cases the words themselves do not show any sign of how they should be classified. Sometimes other things like articles or endings can help, but most of the time you just have to learn them. When you look at things like noun classifiers, you might be thinking, could it be that these structures in language prescribe how we see the world? Now, this is a really good question and it's kind of a big deal in linguistics. There are people called Nativists who believe that most human grammar is innate and coded into our DNA. These people have also read Noam Chomsky's book. On the other side, we have people like Steven Pinker and Guy Deutscher, who argue that grammar as we know it is just the result of making language more efficient and conveying the most information with the least amount of effort. But don't worry, there is no war between linguists. There has never been any war. Linguists don't fight over trivial stuff like the gerbil language putting men in one category and women, violence and animals together in another category. Everything is peaceful. Thank you for tuning in today. If you want to learn more about grammar explained in an easy way, check out one of the following videos on the screen. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell, or consider becoming a Patreon. Thanks for watching and see you then!